Well, a very good evening to you on this, the 22nd day of February 2024. Many thanks for making time to be with us here on, at Lookuptv, just in time for the primetime bulletin. On a day that we have several stories lined up for you, including the call by Azimio to reject new taxes being imposed by the Kenya Kwanza administration. First of all, let's have a look at what's making headlines.
Tonight, National Treasury PS Chris Kipto presents proposed budget for the financial year 2024-2025.
Kenyans must be ready to tighten their belts because KK regime is coming after them in a second wave of taxes.
Tough times lie in the future for Kenyans, says Azimio leaders as they reject the new taxes in the 2024-2025 budget estimates. And 649 people have died on road accidents in the last 2 months, NTSA report reveals.
Welcome to the program. I am Ian Keitani and our sign language interpreter is Felista Adindo. Remember, you can watch this bulletin live on our Facebook and YouTube pages at Lookuptv. Let's get going now. And opposition outfit Azimio la Umoja has told Kenyans to prepare for even harder economic times in the second year of President William Ruto's reign. Through a statement read by Kalonzo Musyoka, Azimio has warned that the Kenya Kwanza administration has proposed additional taxes in the next financial year, which will exert pressure on the already burdened Kenyans. The coalition is further warning of a harsh business environment with allegations that foreign investors are fleeing the country. Our reporter Henry Tende with more.
As the Treasury prepares budget for the financial year 2024-2025, the opposition team Azimio has told Kenyans to brace themselves for hard and challenging economic times as the One Kenya Kwanza regime has proposed punitive taxes that will negatively affect their purchasing power.
We must forewarn Kenyans that as we predicted, the budget policy statement is confirming the tax burden which it set out to increase drastically. The economic proposals, policies and strategies remain flawed and unachievable. If the BPS is anything to go by, Kenyans must be ready to tighten their belts because KK regime is coming after them in a second wave of taxes.
Azimio is further warning the country will witness a sharp increase in prices of basic commodities, insisting the government has no plan in place to better the conditions of Kenyans.
It is clear that we are in a second phase of a reckless race to the bottom. When 1.5 years later, all indicators point to the fact that life is deteriorating, not improving. The cost of life remains high as the cost of every basic item continues to go up. We are staring at a second disastrous and painful year under Kenya Kwanza.
The opposition is projecting a hostile business environment in the next year as it alleges foreign investors are already fleeing the country.
Potential foreign investors are already fleeing Kenya because of the punitive taxes by the KK regime.
On the ballooning national debt, Azimio has called out the government for overborrowing in the 1.5 years it has been in power.
Without blinking an eye, the regime went against its promise to reduce borrowing and did the complete opposite. Today, KK regime has borrowed close to 2 trillion shillings in just 1.5 years.
With Kenyans now staring at a dark future, Azimio now says it will stand with Kenyans and will not allow additional taxes.
We commit to reject any further punitive taxation imposed on Kenyans by this regime in the name of economic transformation.
The outfit additionally maintains the housing levy remains unconstitutional as per the ruling of the High Court, despite efforts by the National Assembly to pass a new housing levy law.
The Affordable Housing Levy Bill 2023 was introduced to the House after the courts twice declared the housing levy, which is meant to finance the affordable housing program, unfair, discriminatory, and unconstitutional. As such, as we speak, it remains unconstitutional.
Azimio has appealed to the Senate to reject the bill.
As the Affordable Housing Levy Bill 2023 moves to the Senate, we once again ask the senators from across the political divide to be patriotic and reject this bill in toto. It is a bad bill for the people of Kenya.
Henry Tendanyula, Lookuptv.
Now, National Treasury Principal Secretary Chris Kipto had a difficult time presenting the proposed budget for the financial year 2024-2025, appearing before the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning. MPs put him to task to shed light on a number of issues, including the Eurobond buyback, position of the dollar exchange rate as he stood in for his boss Njuguna Ndung'u.
Appearing to defend the proposals before Molo lawmaker-led committee, Kimani Kuria has entailed in the BPS. Kipto insisting that the proposed BPS is anchored on the economic development, set to enhance the economic development, production and ease of inflationary prices tied around government's better policy.
But our shilling had weakened because the market believed, especially on the issue of Eurobond, that we were not likely to settle. There was a high risk of failure to settle. And when we came out to demonstrate that we are able, I think this got many, surprised the market, and I think in a way, the market responded, and you have seen that many people decided to sell the dollars they have, and the exchange rate has moved from 162 to yesterday, I know it was at 142 average.
Members felt agitated by the fact with the Treasury registering over 50% on the absorption analysis, as it inquired to understand the status of other institutions, the issue of underfunding of KRA emerging, and mechanisms put in place to ensure the institution mandated with the revenue collection is funded appropriately.
That for us, we need to discuss how to deal with debt. We don't need to escalate further, because I think we need to really care about it. So that conversation about revenue, expenditure, and debt.
MPs wanted the PS to shed more light on their relationship between IFMEs and the e-Citizen, having raised fears about the e-Citizen platform being managed by a private entity at the back end, which proves a risk in terms of its safety and whether it is effective. Kipto's team maintaining stand that e-Citizen has brought in transparency, even though some challenges are being experienced, hinting at not turning back.
The Auditor General is in the process of conducting a special audit of the system so that they can advise accordingly, and then we can take appropriate measures.
We have taken note of the challenges that are there, and I think the teams are working very hard. But to me, automation is the way to go, and digitization of the services is the way to go.
The PS insisted that the government is pushing to reduce budget deficit to match expenditures, which in return says will lead to reduced borrowing, as he expounded on the critical issue around the current volatility being witnessed, uptake of fuel for the past 1 year, and overpayment of Eurobond so as to get more debt. This time round, Kipto endorsing the G2G deal, which he said has enabled mode of doing fuel business internationally.
Now, I know commercial borrowing is usually at a very high rate, indicating that we are heading for Kenya. And then foreign borrowing is also at some danger, because it means you are adding to the problem you told us you are trying to come out of.
Stanley Lugaria, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Now, hundreds of Kenyans flocked Eldoret Funeral Home early Thursday morning to view the body of celebrated athlete Kelvin Kiptum, who died in a tragic road accident 2 weeks ago. The body was later transferred to Eternal Marakwet County before proceeding to Kapkenda, where residents viewed the body of the fallen athlete.
This is the last journey of marathon record breaker Kelvin Kiptum. His body being transported from Delight's funeral home in Eldoret to his home in Eaton, Elgeyo, Marakwet County.
Now, the Director General Private Security Regulatory Authority, Fazul Mohammed, has given all security guards in public and private higher learning institutions an ultimatum of 1 month to ensure they have the set qualifications under the Private Security Regulatory Act number 13 of 2018, failure to which they will be subjected to a fine of not less than 2 million shillings.
In a meeting with the heads of security, the government turned its attention once again to higher learning institutions of a perceived increase of insecurity in and around the facilities. This following reports of deaths involving students at various high learning institutions.
And their security is of utmost importance in this nation. You are all aware that in the recent times there have been reported cases of deaths and injuries in our universities and colleges. All the cases that have happened in the near past, all the way from Kasarani to South Sea to Rongai, all those were who? University students.
The Director General Private Security Regulatory Authority, Fazul Mohammed, has now given all security guards in public and private higher learning institutions an ultimatum of 1 month to ensure they get in line and acquire the right qualifications by law or face 2 million shillings fine or imprisonment.
Or you have contracted a company to provide security in your institutions who are not licensed and registered by the authority. And it's an offense. You will read when you're given the law under section 69, the fine is 2 million shillings or imprisonment. Or because we are doing it for the first time, we shall pursue for both.
Fazul noted that all higher learning institutions will be subjected to mandatory vetting, adding that every security guard will also be subjected to the same on personal level.
Annually, every private security personnel, including the ones who are employed by the university, will have to undergo a curriculum specifically designed by the national security infrastructure of this republic, on an annual basis.
As part of efforts to address the issue, the government has now put deliberately measures which will enhance security in the institutions. Training and licensing of security guards top among the measures.
Every one of you have a duty of care, and we shall be visiting your institutions one by one to make sure that you have appropriate and robust security apparatus and measures and policy that will enhance the safety and security of our children.
Mevin Getembe, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Now, fear has gripped Kabuitu village in Meru County after a criminal gang killed a security guard and burnt down 16 acres of Miraa plantation amounting to 50 million shillings. Ebi Kadenyi tells us more.
Kabuitu village residents are still trying to come to terms with the tragic murder of a guard and the setting ablaze of 2 Miraa shops belonging to Moses Lichoro. Locals saying that they are yet to receive information about investigations on the matter.
Na walipofoma hiyo grupu walianzia kupiga watu. Tumeripoti hapa Maua na hapo Igembe Central, Kangeta, na robberies mingi zile watu wetu walifanywa na sikuwa zinashughulikiwa mpaka sasa. Lakini juzi wakakuja kwangu kaniambia mimi niende kwa media nitukane ngava na Kawira Mwangaza, nikawaambia hapana. Lakini ikawa jana nikaona grupu ilikuwa inakuja kwangu. Wawili walikuwa wanajihami na buduki. Na wakakuja kwa boma yangu, wakaiharibu, wakachoma na wakaenda kwa duka zangu sote wakabomoa.
The Miraa store owner Lichoro, who's counting losses of about 50 million shillings, alleged that the gang members are allies of the late blogger Sniper, who are using him to get attention of the people.
Walikuwa wanaletwa na marori. Unajua hao watu walikuwa wanaletwa na marori usiku. Ndio waliweza kuletwa ili waweze kuharibu mali yangu. Kwa hivyo walikuwa wanaletwa na marori kutoka area mbalimbali wakiletwa hapo Kabuitu. Nimeripoti lakini hakuna msaada tumepata ama usaidizi tumepata hapo.
The residents further called on to Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki to step in and make sure justice is served and all other pending death cases are investigated.
Hii kitendo ambayo imetendeka, tunataka sheria ichukuliwe haraka. Watu ambao walionekana wakifanya incitement wanafaa kuwa watu wa kwanza kuwekwa ndani, waandikishe statement na investigations ifanywe za kutosha, kwa sababu wanataka kudivert attention wakisema ni mob justice. Hakuna story na mob justice iko hapa. Hii ni kitendo ambacho kilikuwa kimepangwa vizuri sana na wanasiasa.
Ebikadenye, Lookuptv.
Now, televangelist Bishop David Kariuki Ngari, popularly known as Gakuyo, was today arraigned before the Milimani law courts over the allegations of embezzling 1 billion shillings from members of his Ekeza Sacco. Gakuyo has been detained at Muthaiga police station pending a Friday ruling which will determine whether he will be held for 4 more days as investigations continue. Now, 649 people have died in the last 2 months. This is according to data from NTSA. In efforts to create awareness, St. John's Ambulance opened a trauma center in Karai, Naivasha, along Nairobi-Nakuru Highway, where alarming numbers of accidents have been reported in the last 4 years.
National Transport Safety Authority has raised concern over the increased number of deaths from road accidents. The latest statistics from NTSA revealing that in the last 2 months, the death toll has reached 649. Director in charge of road safety, Dr. Andrew Kiplagat, has noted that in 4 years, Northern Corridor has dominated in road accidents, many being fatal, adding that as a way of reducing accidents in Nakuru by 50%, authority has mounted several speed cameras.
With these cameras on the road, people are behaving differently, drivers are behaving differently, and this gives us, ideas of what we need going forward, because to reduce accidents by 50%, we would need to have such strategies that are effective.
Speaking during the opening of Trauma Center in Nakuru, Dr. Andrew indicated that next month they will launch National Road Safety Action Plan to address rising cases of accidents, adding that last year 4,000 people died, which was a decline compared to the previous year, lauding St. James Ambulance.
We have a National Road Safety Action Plan. It's actually not NTSA Road Safety Action Plan, but it's a National Road Safety Action Plan, which was developed collaboratively. And the reason why it took that approach is that we realize, and everybody agrees, that road safety is everybody's responsibility.
CEO of St. John Ambulance, Dr. James Wanjangi, has also indicated that they have a total of 19 rescue centers in the country, with 2 targeting trauma victims, noting that Nairobi-Nakuru Highway have recorded fatal accidents, while appealing to partners to provide financial support.
And currently we have about 19 highway posts. We are calling them community first aid highway posts across the Northern Corridor, all the way from Mombasa to Malaba.
Shamila Baraza, Lookuptv.
Now, after both houses debated and adopted the National Dialogue Report, the National Assembly is set to extensively debate on key issues revolving around constitutional amendments. This is according to Speaker Moses Wetangula, who noted that the House will pick sections of the report and discuss it in plenary. Among the issues set to be tackled include the implementation of the 2/3 gender rule.
Of you here who are with us in the meeting, don't panic. We will be able to see what we can do. And I did caution you that gender issue has collapsed in this House 15 times in the last 10 years. So you better also change your strategy and choose your friends carefully and your supporters carefully, so that you can be able this time to have the matter carried to fruition. As it is now, I cannot append the gender rule issue on NADCO because the motion has been debated, is concluded, replied to. We are only now putting the question.
that we were not able to conclusively give a way forward in NADCO on the 2/3 gender rule. And principally because there was also broadly no agreement between the various stakeholders on that issue of the 2/3 gender rule. And that is why it became impossible for us to even build consensus within NADCO, because there were too many proposals with too many routes, and we therefore agreed that we leave that matter by consensus to the multi-sectoral forum.
Now, this year's edition of the Higher Education Career Fair, organized by Lookuptv, began today morning, aiming to discuss the place of education and technical skills in a digitally disruptive era. The Career Fair seeks to create an opportunity for students to understand the importance of digital skills in the evolving job market as they prepare to enter the world of work. John Matava files the following story.
The 2024 Career Fair Expo is targeting university and high school students, the main aim being to link them to the industry amid the ever-evolving milestones in the digital space.
And as private TVETs, we are taking that as an initiative, as a plus what we can be able to do to get another generation that is employable, to get a generation that has got their own initiative, to get a generation that is entrepreneurial.
According to Dr. Joyce Ngure, who is an Assistant Director of Research, she explains to us the role technology has played in shaping research innovations and how one can get funding to develop a research approach.
Right now, we have a lot of research funding, not only by government, but even out there. Go to the internet, go and search, go look at your area, apply for the opportunities that are there. There are very many opportunities. They may be competitive. Only 20% get these things, but you may try and it will cost you so little, because all you have to do is put a proposal together, seek the money, and the people who want things to be done in Kenya will only give you money. So you actually put your point forward, get your challenge to be very unique, let it be Kenyan based, and you shall get funding.
Dr. Ekran Dungu, the National Association of Private Colleges chairperson, explains the strategies in place to enhance the employability of students graduating from TVET institutions all around the country.
As private TVETs, we have been working very hard to produce quality students. I believe a few years ago you could hear of half-baked kind of graduates getting into the market. As private TVETs, we are doing our very best to make sure that we are producing a student that is employable by sharing with them and training them and mentoring them on employability skills.
Among innovative learning institutions established in the country is the Open University of Kenya. We spoke to Dr. Beth Kiratu, a representative. She highlights how the university operates differently from any other institutions.
The Open University of Kenya is a public university of Kenya that was chartered in August 2023 and a specialized university. We are an open distance learning university where we offer our courses remotely, purely online. Our learners are not required to be on campus during the session.
John Matava, Lookuptv.
Now, Embakasi East lawmaker Babu Owino has implicated KEMSA board chairperson Irungu Nyakera and Chief Executive Officer Andrew Mulwa in what he says is a plan by the duo to defraud the authority at least 650 million shillings meant to purchase medical equipment. The vocal legislator faulted the authority for failing to come to the rescue of his constituents in Mbradi during the gas explosion, despite them being just a couple of kilometers away.
I'm here to unearth a mega scandal, a big scandal that is currently happening at KEMSA in Embakasi East constituency. The scandal is being carried out by the chairman of the board, none other than Irungu Nyakera, together with the CEO Mulwa. These two people are stealing money, defrauding money from Kenyans, and to a tune of 641 million Kenya shillings is being defrauded as we speak. And this money was meant to purchase medical, surgical tapes, wound dressing materials, zinc oxide, surgical blades, safety boxes, and gloves. You can see that all these companies, they are from one specific tribe. Irungu Nyakera is the one perpetrating this, together with Mulwa, the CEO. And I can tell you that the distance between Mradi, where there was the Embakasi gas explosion, and Kemsa is 2 minutes walk. Kemsa has drugs. Not even a bandage, not even Piriton was given to my people from Kemsa. And these people already, Irungu Nyakera is stealing 641 million Kenya shillings.
Now, civil society organizations have been called upon to support the media as the relationship between the two is complementary. During the ongoing Africa Media Festival in Nairobi, editors together with CSOs held a breakfast roundtable meeting to discuss effective ways in which both the media and the civil society organizations could work together. The media has been blamed for not prioritizing human rights stories.
So we need to start dealing with editors so that we don't blame the journalists.
As the Africa Media Festival takes center stage in the city of Nairobi, civil society organizations and the media had a roundtable conversation deliberating on improving their relationship, with CSOs being called upon to support media organizations.
Civil society needs to support the business models of the media. At the end of the day, media is a business, and civil societies cannot afford to expect that these businesses will provide the service at no cost. But it doesn't have to be exorbitant fees. It's just being creative in the way you target the media, in the way you pay for the services that the media asks for. You can do targeted advertising through the media that will drum up support for the work that you do and create an awareness in what you do.
It's through these conversations that you bring together, both sides of the divide. Put the journalists and the CSOs in one room. Let them discuss the issues that they've been having. Let them also get the solutions to those issues, and also let them get a way forward on how are we going to collaboratively work together for the benefit of the society.
Led by journalists for human rights, the question on prioritizing human interest stories dominated the conversation, with the media accused of not putting much emphasis on stories that involve CSOs, yet they are the direct contact with the stories on the ground.
For civil society organizations to be deliberate in their programming so that they can involve media, not as an afterthought, but to walk with them in the journey of program design, so that involvement of media does not become something that we think of in the periphery.
And from our end as journalists, we shall get to understand what the civil society is and ask for more information, because at times we do not have the information that the university is seeking.
Journalists have been asked to work closely with CSOs as the relationship between the two is more of complementary.
They have to connect one to another, because civil, how media works is unknown to civil society organizations, and how civil society organization operates is unknown to media.
Civil society organizations and the media have been working together for the longest of time, with the latter being at the center of acting as the amplifier of the voices of the former. It is a conversation that brought together several editors and civil societies, and one that has the interest of both stakeholders, with the goal being to see a more collaborative relationship. The two-day second annual Africa Media Festival started on Wednesday and concluded today, celebrating milestones, the latest innovations in the media sector, with participants discussing trends aimed at promoting media independence. Brian Amoai, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
to some sporting action rather, and the 55th edition of the Magical Kenya Open kicked off today at the Muthaiga Golf Club with a total of 144 golfers participating in the competition. Kenya golfers led by Dismas Indiza are hopeful of a good performance, saying they are well prepared.
Yeah, solid round. Thought it was pretty windy this morning, a lot of crosswind, especially on my first 9. But in terms of that, I think I played much better on the front 9, which is my back 9. Control the ball more, hit a lot of fairways, gave myself chances for birdies, I think from 5 to 9. Only made 1. But in terms of that, yeah, good start. Yeah, it was good. Good fun. Good laugh with Max and Freddie. Had a good time. Yeah, just looking forward to tomorrow now. Go home, get some rest, get prepared for tomorrow. Yeah, just a big thank you to everybody who came out today. Much appreciated. Yeah, looking forward to playing tomorrow in front.
And just so that you can note, the burial for the former world record marathon holder, the late Kelvin Kiptum, has been moved from Chepsamo due to strong winds, and the burial will now be held at the Chepkorio Showgrounds tomorrow in a funeral expected that President William Ruto and Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua are expected to grace. Now, on that particular note, we take a short breather. We'll be back with an interview with the former Vice President of the Law Society of Kenya, Caroline Kamende Daudi, who is, of course, gunning to become the 51st President of the Law Society of Kenya on matters integrity in the profession and, of course, her quest to succeed Eric Theory. Don't go away.
Mambo ni mawili, kufikisha, kumwaga na kurudi. Kulala ni mwaka mpya.
Muka we mse. Ni mbaya. Wewe kwani vile dereva anaendesha gari vibaya, lazima tususe. Anaendesha gari na kwa simu za road hata angalia barabara. Iliyopita peke yake watu zaidi ya 3,000 walipoteza maisha yao barabarani kwa sababu ya tabia kama hizo. Hautatuangamiza tukiona.
Naomba msamaha, tutapeleka vizuri.
Si wameomba msamaha. Sasa twende tusafiri kwa mwendo wa aste.
Dere Smart hufikisha abiria salama. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na NTSA kwa ushirikiano na European Union.